Hello everyone, another video from me, and I don't do this often enough, so when I'm doing it, you know it's about a special game. So today I'm gonna share you some of my experience playing Hell as Us before release and how I am really loving it. But first, let's talk about how I found out about the game and how I wasn't hyped about it at all until last week. So first time I saw this game, the creative director was talking about it on a showcase.
Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Jacques Belatet. I'm the creative director and the art director on Hell as Us. So the game is a bit of a take back to games from the 1990s. We're a team of passionate people. The average on the team is like 20 years of development experience. So we're from different generations and we have a lot of love for how the games in the 90s were made and how they were played and experienced, especially the fact that there was no hand holding, there was no silver plattering. You kind of had to figure stuff out by yourself. You were really in control of your exploration and your own discoveries. And this is what we're trying to do in Hell as Us. Obviously with modern flair and kind of like modern knowledge of game design and whatnot, but very much put you back in the driver's seat of your experience and of your exploration, and then the result and the joy of your discoveries.
Okay, so during the showcase I was like, I don't know what to think of this. Like the investigation exploration, that seems really cool, but the game had looked a bit Souls-like and scary, like horror game. So I was like, oh man, I'm not big into horror games, and I'm not big into Souls-likes. Like I finished Elden Ring and I really enjoyed Stellar Blade and a couple others, but it's not my favorite genre. So, and we get a ton of Souls-likes these days. So I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. Let's wait and see. So the other week they released a demo, and I tried it on a whim. I was looking for something to play. I was like, oh, let's try this, see if it's anything, if that's Souls-like or not. And man, I was blown away. Okay, let me show you why. First of all, the vibes. The game starts with a cutscene of your main character being strapped to a chair and with a polygraph and some drugs being injected into his system.
It's a truth serum. It's still experimental, hence the polygraph. I would have tortured you, but my employers insist I use their concoction.
So yeah, it starts like this. This guy is very creepy looking and interrogating you, and you're like already intrigued about the vibes, and the cutscenes are very well done. And the guy's like, hey, how did you get into Hadia? And then you start to learn that Rami is a guy who was born in Hadia, which is a country like North Korea or something like that, where you cannot go in and or out that easily. But he was smuggled out as a kid, and now he's been trying his whole life basically to come back into the country to, find answers, find out why he was smuggled out, and find out his history of his family or whatever. So Rami starts telling about his adventures in Hadia, let's put it that way. So Rami starts telling his story, and we get a flashback to him dressed as someone from the UN or the United Nations, or ON in this game, and he basically got into the country. That's where the game starts, and immediately I got hit by the vibes. So immediately I found like a weird necklace, and then like some sort of old language, which already got my mind working like, oh, maybe I can translate that later and find out what is written here, maybe it's some clue for something. And then a minute later I found these weird graves, and you know, like a couple minutes into the game, I was like, oh, this is interesting, but let's see. I don't know, I was like the soundscape in the forest, the birds, the rain. Then I saw this weird tower in the distance, and this house that is destroyed, and like you can feel the rain on the controller as well, the PS5 controller, and the soundscape is so good, like I was already immersed. Like the save point is like a polygraph, whatever. It's just a vibey game. So going to the basement, I found my first NPC.
You must be lost to wander around Sinedra Forest. I'm afraid I have very little to offer. You're welcome to stay and catch your breath. Frankly, I could use the company.
Who are you?
The name's Ernest Cadell. My family has tilled the earth here for generations. When the Sabinian army dug in for the winter, they used our home as their headquarters. I wasn't here at the time, but my sons were. When I finally came back, the Sabinians were long gone. They left my sons' bodies in the forest. My only solace is knowing that my fourth son might still be alive.
So, he tells us that there's a civil war going on, and his 3 sons got killed because of it. And we ask him, hey, where's the village of Jova? Because that's the only clue that we have about where Remy's parents were or lived back in the day. So we're gonna make our way over there. So he tells us, hey, it's kind of far, so you're gonna need a car. But it's more or less to the north of here, and you gotta follow the wind chimes. Like, that's how you're gonna find the car. So that's the type of exploration that it's in this game. They don't give you a map and a waypoint. They tell you, hey, go north from here, or follow, I don't know, the trees might be marked with some stuff, or I don't know, follow the sound. You see that monument, it's behind there. That's the type of exploration that you can expect from this game, and that's very immersive to me.
The wind chimes. They will lead the way through.
So we use our keys in at the gate here, and it's very Resident Evil, very vibey. And then we follow the compass to the north, and the wind chimes. Just listen to them. It's very vibey, like it's crazy. It's not just sounds either, like they use other tricks to make you go in a certain direction, like the flashing lights here make me go and talk to this NPC that's down here.
You found me. Epsilon 12, right? God, I can't see shit. I have blood in my eyes. You must have honed in on my distress beacon.
Now, with the exploration comes the investigation part, and that's really cool as well. They're both very well interlinked together. For example, how you keep track of your goals and your quests, which in this game are called good deeds. I'll come back to that later. But it's like through this iPad stuff from the 90s, and it's very immersive, very in-world. The way the character pulls out of his pocket, and you can look at who has a connection to somebody else and whatever, and it gets updated as you play through the game. Also, the items that you got through exploration, or that like keys and I don't know, notes with maybe codes for safes or whatever, they are all written there. So kind of investigation is there. Like there's the main story, main plot, and then you have like good deeds and mysteries. Good deeds are tracked like little side quests for the character, and they're not overly explained either, and neither are mysteries. Mysteries are like, you might find like a clue or like a note somewhere, and that might open up a mystery in the world. Like, for example, if I found a treasure hunt from some kids, and then that opens up a mystery in the pad, and then I need to find the clues and find the treasure for myself, you know, that kind of thing. And this is the first example in the demo part, but later on you might have multi-tiered mystery. Like, for example, you might go to a mechanic shop. Maybe it's just an example that I'm making up. So you go to a mechanic shop, and then you're exploring there, and then you find, I don't know, a safe, and you don't have the combination to the safe, obviously, right? So you're like, okay, I'm gonna make note of this. I usually write down on a pad and go, oh, safe in mechanic shop. And then later on, if I'm exploring, then I might go into a house in another place, and I'll see like a post-it note from character like Sam. Sam is asking John, hey John, I don't remember the code for the safe in the mechanic shop. And then you're like, oh, safe in the mechanic shop, I found that a couple hours ago. So I read further, and it says, when did you go to that trip to the lake again? And then you might find in the house, you might find like a picture of two guys fishing, and then the I don't know, the date would be 1st of September of 85. So you're like, oh, I have 6 digits, that might be the code for the safe, you know? That's the type of thing. It's not super hard, but you feel like, oh, I figured that out, you know? It's just hard enough so that you feel good about it, but it's not hard enough to make you look it up, you know, if that makes sense. Same with other like I don't know, like doors that you may find without a key, or with a combination that you don't know yet, but you like just make a note of them. I write them down on post-it notes or something, and then later on I might find the combination for that, and I'm like, oh yes, like let me go see and what's inside there. So I'm gonna talk about the combat and the Souls-like aspect of the game, in quotes. So if you're afraid you're not gonna be able to finish this game because it's too hard, too soulsy, it's not fun, and you don't like it, don't worry about it. It's not that at all. Like, it has the lock-on aspect, stuff like that, but it's got difficulty options, and they're very like detailed. Like, you can change how aggressive the enemies are, how much health they have, anything. It's very forgiving, and the combat, even on normal, is not that hard either. And if you die, you don't lose any progress. Like, everything that you found, the exploration and the investigation part, that's always saved, and the enemies that you killed too, so you don't have to lose a ton of progress if you die. It's actually kind of fun. If you die, you get a cutscene, and it's interesting. So yeah, it's I don't know, it's very fun. Like, you get like the drone abilities, you unlock more, especially when you got those. And then when you upgrade your weapons, you can input like magical abilities into the weapons, like glyphs, which are things that you can use when you hit the enemies for a while. You get like this bar that fills up on the top of the screen, and then you can use your magical abilities, and they're very varied, and they have a ton of different ones, and they're very fun to use. And you have a lot of weapons. I think I found 5 types, more or less, but you have more weapons, and you can mix and match, and you can carry 2 weapons at once and change between them depending on the enemy that you're fighting. So that's a ton of fun. Like, honestly, in the demo I wasn't sold on it, but later on, when you start unlocking more stuff for it and start, you know, upgrading that, it's a lot of fun to do, and I go out of my way to fight now. And another thing that's kind of soulsy is like the dungeons. It's like a mix of Souls and Zelda. Like, you might find an item uh, to progress, like, oh, I can't progress here, so I need to loop around, and then you go into the door, and that door leads to another door that was closed before, and then you open and you have a shortcut. That's very like Elden Ring and Souls. But then you have the Zelda stuff, like, for example, a door, you might have an elevator that you need to fix first, so you find like I don't know, a part for that, and then you put that, and then I don't know, water drops and water fills up. You know, it's very Zelda-like. So I think, anyways, back to the combat, like, you have a few types of enemies, and sometimes they have like they are tied to like an entity, and the entity, the strategy is the entity needs to be defeated first before you can hit the monster, the white monster. And so it's useful to use the drone to distract the white monster, and then destroy the entity first. And there is also a really cool mechanic, like, by hitting enemies, and then you can get health back if you hit R1 at the right moment. You recover health, but it's kind of hard to do at first. But then once you get the hang of it, you're like healing all the time. And you also have other types of heals, like abilities or consumables, and you can upgrade your weapons. You level up your weapons. That's how you level up in this game. You level up the weapons that you use by killing enemies, and you find new abilities, and you unlock new abilities, and I don't know, it's super fun to do. You get like finishes like this one. It's a lot of fun. I recommend it. Anyways, let me go back to the good deeds part. I left this to the back of the video because it is a bit spoilery for side quests. No plot spoilers here in this video, but for side quests. So just to tell you why I like this game so much, why it makes me feel good, and despite being such a heavy, I don't know, subject matter. You know, like I said, you're in a country that's in a civil war, and everybody you meet has done terrible things, or has had terrible things happen to them. As you know, it's a civil war. It's bad, you know, and you see some bad stuff too, especially in the second area and in some other areas later on. But there is beauty too in this game, so you have the option of helping these people and giving them a little bit of hope. They won't ask you for your help by themselves, but maybe, like, for example, I'm gonna give you an example about this old man here. He told us he lost his son, his 3 sons, and one son is away, right? So you can find a tape where the 4th son called his dad and his brothers, and you can find the name of the brothers, and one of the brothers is called Otis. So later on, I found a watch with the name Otis in it, and then I was like, oh, you know, that's probably the guy's son. And then you go back and you give it to him, and he's like super thankful, and he's like, he just has a little bit more hope. And that's like, you're not like saving these people really that much, like, from the war, but you're just giving them hope, like a little bit of hope. Like, if a stranger can help me, then maybe I can survive the situation. So I love this so much, and there's countless examples in this game where, like, I meet an NPC and I feel bad for them. I'm like, I need to help them because they're in a bad place now. So how can I help them? And it's like a bit of a puzzle, a bit of a emotion, and you get some rewards for it too, you know, later on. I'm not gonna spoil how, but it's very fun to do, and it's very rewarding. So if I can leave you guys with one message, it's this one.
Why are you in Hadia?
If someone were to say I was obsessed with Hadia, it would be the understatement of the year.
And that's exactly how I feel. Like, I've been enjoying this game for a few days now, and I'm really obsessed with it. I'm taking notes, I'm finding stuff out, I'm exploring. I'm trying very hard to help every NPC that I meet, and I don't know, I'm really impressed with this game. And in a year where we had many passion projects like KCD2, like Expedition 33, like The Altars, like passion project games, not like super AAA, not super, you know, big Call of Duty, Sony games, but like a smaller experience, but with a lot of passion behind it and a lot of heart. You know, this one is one of those, and I hope it succeeds, and I hope you guys give it a chance too, if you have the time and the money to get it, and if it interests you. I hope you guys give it a chance, because it's super special so far. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you next time, hopefully. Okay, bye bye.